Hello, my fellow cigar smokers, and welcome to Smokers Pod. We're doing the night owl again. It's a little bit early today. It's around 10 p.m. And when I'm looking here at the display of my camera, the background is looking like it's bright as day, but that must be like the rest light that the camera is working with, because it's already pretty dark, but it's looking brighter than it is. Guys, what are we doing? We are smoking today the Arturo Fuente, and that is the Anejo number 77 Shark. That was a request by one of my subscribers. I'm so sorry, I forgot the name, but I've made like a list what people were requesting, and that was one of them. So I thought, why not give it, not give it a try, because I'm kind of smoking it frequently, so I already know how it is, but I think it's worth like smoking it, talking about it, and let's see what's going on there. The typical Arturo Fuente band, and there's here the classical red footband that all of the Anejo series has. Now let's remove that and let's see. In the last couple of weeks I was kind of sloppy with the night owl, but as you can see, we're back on track. Last week we're doing a night owl, doing it again today, and from now on every week again. Creamy, nutty, and the smell is like maybe hay. Let's get it started. So guys, I hope you are doing all good and you enjoyed the last couple of shows I was doing. I did. I hope you were doing it too. Won't burn as I want to. I have to admit, I'm kind of not very patient today. Now we have it running. Oh, the band's loose. We'll see here. Well, we can smoke it without a band. I'm pairing it today, my friends, with a beer, and that is the Goose Island IPA. Cheers, sorry. Funny story about that IPA, I'll tell you in a second. So, first things first, the Arturo Fuente number 77, a very popular stick. As the name says, it's part of the Anejo series. And some people are getting confused because we have like two Shark editions, or two Shark Vitolas. My favorite, that is the Don Carlos Eye of the Shark, and we were talking about that already. And the second one here is the number 77 from the Anejo series. Two different Eye of the Sharks, but they're both great. This one here, however, has one special thing. It has a Maduro wrapper, and that is a US Connecticut Prot leaf. There's something special about that, because maybe you already know. If not, let me tell you. 1996, a hurricane was running over the Arturo Fuente Chateau the tabacalera, and destroyed the wrappers that they used to use. So Carlito Fuentes thought about it and said, okay, we need to keep that series running. What are we going to do? So he decided to switch it to something they were not using before on that cigars, and they used the US Connecticut Broadleaf Maduro. And that's the story why the number 77 and all other Anejo, Arturo Fuente Anejo cigars, they all still have the US Connecticut Broadleaf Maduro. Nice to know. A very creamy, nutty cigar at the beginning. Draw is perfect. That one here was sitting in my humidor for, I don't know, like 3 to 4 months or so. For me, Fuente is always a cigar that you can smoke like instantly after a couple of days. But it's always good to like leave it in your humidor for a while if you can. It definitely will make your cigar better. So about here, the Goose Island IPA, that is an IPA, a beer that is brewed in Belgium. Frankly, I don't know why they called it Goose Island, because I'm pretty sure there is no Goose Island in Belgium. If there is a Goose Island, I'm sorry guys, you can let me know down in the comments. I did no research on that, it was just a wild idea. And that is my mom. She's now in the living room talking to me. Ich mache ein Video, Mama. And she was looking at me like, what the heck are you doing there? I'm sitting, she said, you're just sitting in the dark, what are you doing there? And I said, Mom, I'm doing a video, please. Funny case you don't know. In that house here was like a multi-generation house. My mom has an apartment downstairs, a separate apartment where she's living. She moved together with us in that house like 5 years ago. She's now like 74, and back then she turned like 70, and we thought it's a good idea to have her nearby in case, you know, something happens or you need help or whatever. So that's the story. Just to let you know, I don't know if that is of any importance at all. But I'm awaiting like more disruptions because my wife still somewhere with my youngest daughter. They're probably coming back in the next, I don't know, half an hour or so. Maybe we'll see. Back to the Goose Island IPA. Guys, a couple of weeks ago, we spent our vacation in France and the Normandy. I made a playlist about that in case you want to know what was going on there. Kind of funny. And at one day, in the house we were staying, we had a house for our own. There was like a billiard room where you can play like snooker or whatever. And one day my wife thought, oh, maybe it's a cool idea if, you know what, because I was there, we were there with my youngest and my oldest daughter, and she said, well, maybe they would, you know, they had an idea. They want to drink a can of beer while playing snooker. And I said, okay, why not? I have to tell you guys, in Germany, you can drink beer when you're 16 years old. It's not like in the United States where you can drink when you're 21. 16, you can drink beer. So it's perfectly fine. However, I thought, okay, why not? It's like an exception. Cool. So I bought a couple of cans, but it never happened. For whatever reason, I can't remember really. It never happened. So by the day we were leaving France, we still had that IPA, the cans, in the fridge. And I said, oh come on, let's take it with us at home. So we have a nice present from France, right? So that's how the IPA came back to Germany in the fridge, and now I'm drinking it. It's a nice pairing, and really. The beer is it's very gentle, fruity, sweet, fruity. Nice. And the cigar is great. Just a great cigar. The other day, I was in the lounge, they have a flagship store in Frankfurt, and was sitting there, and then a good friend of mine, who actually, I think, his mother is actually living in Germany and is German, and his father from somewhere else. I forgot. I'm sorry, but he's living in London, in the UK, actually. But every now and then he's coming over to Germany and spending some time with his German part of the family, and at least 1 or 2 times he's also visiting the lounge. So that's how I met him a couple of years ago, and it was funny. We had like another friend of ours, he knew him first, and he invited him to the lounge. So he was coming over, and he introduced us, and since he said like, okay, here, that's my buddy, he's just coming over from London, and I instantly started talking English, right? So for like half an hour or so, we were talking English, like small talk, hey, how's it going, and so on, what do you like to smoke, blah, blah, blah. And after a while, during the conversation, the topic was parents and so on, and I said, oh yes, well, my mom lives in Germany. And I said, oh cool, so how's your German? And he's like, perfect, I'm a native speaker. Oh, well, we were looking at each other and we're like, okay, all right. So and then we started talking in German again, or started talking in German then. And it was so funny because we both instantly switched to English. Also, we both are able to speak German, right? That was so funny. We're still talking about that every now and then. So he's visiting us now. And he said for the first time in years, they now had to check his passport in detail, because after the Brexit, England is not longer part of the European Union. All right, so if he wants to stay longer than I think 3 months, he needs a visa that he can stay here. That's crazy. But that's the way they wanted it, right? I mean, they probably had good reasons for doing it, but also he said, man, we jumped into that and we had no fucking plan. What will happen after that? After all the propaganda that was going on in the UK, they won with 2 or 3%. So, and it was decided, let's do the Brexit, and now they have the Brexit. It's completed last year, and now Jesus Christ, they have a lot of problems. I don't know if all that is I'm getting all the news, of course, from here in Germany, and the reality might be a little bit different. But he agreed that there are a couple of things that are not running very smoothly. For example, and there was a big news here in Germany too. They have a problem now with the truck drivers, I heard. Guys, if you're living in England or UK and I'm wrong here, like, you can call me stupid and correct me and put it down in the comments what it is. But I was talking to my friend that visited the lounge, and I said, well, is it true that you guys now having a problem with the truck drivers? There are no more truck drivers, or like it will cut like 20 or 30%, because a lot of truck drivers were hired in Eastern Europe because they were cheaper, and then they were coming over to England and driving the trucks over there. And now they had to leave England, right? Because they were getting no work permit, because they're from somewhere else, I don't know. And now no truck drivers, or not enough truck drivers, so there will be shortage of different things. We all know how important truck drivers are, and trucks that are driving around. They are like carrying all the shit that we are using every day. This way, thanks a lot, guys. If you're a truck driver, appreciate what you're doing. Not bad. Also, I'm from Germany. I'm not the biggest beer fan. I have to admit, I'm sorry. I mean, like, drinking a beer like 1 or 2 times in a month or so. I'm more the, as you know, probably I'm more the whiskey guy. But every now and then it's cool to have a good beer. And it's funny. I like a couple of German beers. I mean, Germany is, of course, very popular for the beer we are brewing over here worldwide. And we are exporting it to, I think, every country in the world where it's allowed to drink alcohol. But what I really like is the Irish beer. I like Guinness. I love Guinness. Or Kilkenny, for example. I just love it. Just love it. Very unusual. I had to correct my Arturo Fuente, but I'm not going to blame the cigar, because I was lighting it like on the run, as you saw, because I had all my good lighters upstairs, and I have just this crappy piece of shit over here, and I was too lazy to go upstairs getting the lighter coming down again. Because, as you see, I wanted to record it outside, because Jesus Christ, the weather is fucking beautiful. Even now, we have like, I think it's like, let me check the mobile. It's still 17 degrees Celsius. So it's very warm for September, and it's kind of good, because the summer here in Germany, it was like hilarious. We had like rain, just rain. 1 or 2 days were kind of warm, but then most of the summer it was very, very rainy. But now the weather forecast is they said like, we will have a good September. And guys, you know why that is not only important but also very cool? Because last week something amazing happened. Back in March, and I was talking about it in a night, I don't know which one, I ordered my new Harley-Davidson, the 2021 Fat Boy, that wood green. And last week it arrived. That took some time. I already knew because like the sales agent told me they will like ship it from the United States like beginning start of July, and he said most of the time it takes somewhere between 8 and 12 weeks to get like it arrives then in Rotterdam in the Netherlands, and then the truck drivers again, then they bring it to Germany, and then it's here. So it took some time, but last week he called me and he said, Andy, man, I have good news, your bike's here. And I said, thank you, sir, thank you. So I think last week Friday I was getting all my stuff together and bring it to the Harley-Davidson dealer because they will register the bike for me. So next week I will have it. Kind of hard to register your shit right now, no matter if it's a car or a bike, because due to Corona you cannot just go to the registration. You have to make an appointment, and then you're getting a time slot, and you can go over there. And like if you're just a private person, like the next available date will be like in 3 weeks or so. I won't talk about it. So, but of course the dealer, they have like a better approach, and they have like reserved time slots and whatever, but still they have to make an appointment. So probably Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, somewhere in that time frame I will have my bike here. And that's why I said it's so cool that the September and maybe the October will be nice, because I still then have a couple of days where I can ride my bike around. I mean, I'm riding my bike all year long, but I mean, it's of course cooler when the weather is nice. But then again, something funny and sad happened. So the Harley sales agent called me and said, Andy, your bike is in. I said, yahoo! But he was like, okay, the bad news is like we have no stuff over here, no extras, not even bags, nothing, absolutely nothing. So you just can take your bike, and if you want to have some extras, you have to come back later that we like mounted and whatever, you know. They have nothing. And he said, you know what, like the last 90 bikes we're giving out to customers, they were all like naked, no specials, no extras, nothing, because we have nothing here other than merchandise. And I said, guy, what the fuck is going on? And he said like, Andy, I don't know, I really have no explanations. It's just like we're not getting stuff at the moment, you know. Jesus, I don't know. Maybe it's the same thing like with the microchips, that there's like a shortage right now because they're building it in all their electric cars right now, and so everyone else is fucked, right? Because there are no more microchips on the market. Oh, crazy times, man. Wonderful cigar. Not as good as the Don Carlos Eye of the Shark, but it's a very, very good cigar. Let me check the price. Not quite sure, but I think it's more on the pricier side. Okay, here in Germany it's like 24 euros. So in US dollars it would be like 27 or so. But I think in the US it's a little bit cheaper. Not quite sure right now, but it's worth every penny. I love that cigar. And they're saying it's a torpedo. Of course, it's not really a torpedo because it's at the foot. It's box pressed, and towards the end, the focus when it's dark, it's not working very good. So here you can see it's box pressed, but towards the end, it's getting round. So that's just a special vitola that only Arturo Fuente is doing, and I'm checking like the ring gauge and so on. Has a 50 ring gauge and is 5.875 inches long, so 5.8. Lovely vitola, lovely cigar. Okay, before I talked about the truck drivers in England, I wanted to tell you, my friend that was coming over from London, right? I met him in the lounge and we said, after a couple of minutes, like small talk, he like instantly, because that seems to be the big news, he said, man, what's going on in Afghanistan? And I said, oh, come, please, over here at the night hall, I don't want to open that box. But it's like the news, right? Because everyone here is talking about it. And it's like, I'm getting very, very emotional about that topic. And I had already 10 discussions about the situation, what happened there. And I think maybe part of that why I'm getting so emotional is I spent a couple of years in the military. So I have I know what's going on, and I know how people were feeling and everything that's coming with it. And so that's why I'm getting emotional. I'm not talking about it right now because when I'm starting talking about that, man, I will talk for the rest of the night. I'll just about that, and I'm ranting. So as I said, not opening that box. I just wanted to say, it seems to be that news right around the world. So he was coming over from London, and he after 5 minutes he was talking about Afghanistan, and we talked about that in the lounge for half an hour or so, and we agreed on our idea and thoughts. Enough of that. And that lounge atmosphere, sometimes it's strange, because you have let's call it the regulars, people who are always there. For example, me, I'm 5 out of 7 days I'm in the lounge, smoking a cigar, and there are a couple of other people that you're seeing not every day, but every week, So there's of course, as it is with everyone else, or every group or whatever, there's an inner circle of people who are always there, and we know each other. We know how everyone is thinking about things and so on. So with these kind of people, of course, I have other discussions in comparison to people that are coming new to the lounge, because you never know, right? Because of course, when you're coming to the lounge, the most important thing, or the top priority is, dude, I want to smoke a cigar. I want to enjoy my cigar. Leave me the fuck alone. Sometimes. And I respect that. When people coming to the lounge, I respect that they want to just smoke a cigar and not have a discussion about politics or whatever, So when you people are coming in, I'm always careful what I'm talking about. I mean, you get a feeling if they want to talk at all, if they, after saying hello or so, and they're just sitting there, I'll leave them alone. But sometimes you have that feeling that he's in the mood talking, right? And then what I'm always doing, I'm kind of gently trying to figure out what he wants to talk about, what's his opinion, still in mind smoking a cigar, right? So very often we're just talking about cigars. And then from cigars you're coming to other topic and so on, and then a very cool discussion is going on. Sometimes, and sometimes not. I'm very carefully now planning another vacation. Maybe if you watch like the Night Owl a couple of times already, you know I'm a big Ireland fan, and I'm planning to buy a cottage in Ireland and, like, you know, traveling back and forth between Ireland and Germany. So that's the long-term plan. So in the last couple of months I was looking for a cottage, you know, only online, because like until July I think it was not possible to travel to Ireland, because as soon as you arrive there they will put you in a 14 days quarantine. So made no sense at all. They open now. So in the internet I was checking all the counties that are important for me, where I'm looking for a cottage. If you know Ireland, I'm looking in the county of Cork, in the county of Clare, and oh man, maybe it was one beer too much, I don't know. And Galway, County Galway. Oh man, sometimes. Jesus Christ. Okay, Cork, Galway, Clare. That are my like go-to counties, you know, where I'm looking for a cottage at the moment. So I'm looking through all that real estate portals looking for cottages, but I know, and that's a fact, that the best cottages are not online. They're just locally at the real estate agents. They have like flyers and stuff over there and showing what they have, so you have to go there and check it out. So right now I'm planning to like just a week or two flying over to Ireland and like traveling around through that counties and just checking out the cottages, you know, and hopefully I will find one. And right now I'm in the planning of doing that. My wife wants to come with me, and of course that means we have to leave our two daughters and the dogs back at home. Of course my daughters are cool with it. I don't know what they will do in the 2 weeks or so, but I'm pretty sure they're old enough, right? But you see, there are a couple of things that you have to like take into account. So we're still in the middle of figuring out when we want to travel and so on. But I hope it will be like maybe in October, November. That's my idea right now, and checking out what's going on there. And if that happens, guys, that will be like a big step, and it's an important step in like what do you want to do with life, right? Where do you want to live? What do you want to do, and so on. And I always like, frankly, for the last 10 years or so, I always thought, man, it would be cool to spend like my last days or last years or my retirement or whatever in Ireland. Because I don't know if you know that feeling, but for example, when I'm like the vacation in France, right? So we spent like 2 weeks in France, but when I'm coming back to Frankfurt, I always have that good feeling like when you're coming home, right? So that good feeling when you're coming home, and that's always like embracing me and giving me just a good, I'm feeling good then, right? No matter how cool the vacation was or whatever, I'm always happy coming back home. I mean, I'm sure it's not only the place itself, right, your house or the city, but it's everything that is like coming with it. The places that you like, your favorite spots where you go, like, you know everybody, your neighborhood, the friends, of course, and if you have family, the family, and all that, you know, that makes it a home. But I had a special feeling the first time I traveled to Ireland, and that is like, I don't know, like 20 years ago. Back then, like going back into time, like 25 years or so. Never been to Ireland before then. I only had it, saw it on TV or whatever, or movies and so on, you know. And I always thought, well, it would be cool going there, travel there. And then the first time, after we like arrived in Dublin and were driving through Ireland towards the west coast, I still remember that. And it was like I had the exact, and that's crazy, I cannot explain why, but I had the exact same feeling. It was like a feeling like coming home. I have no explanation for that, why that is the case, you know. But that was the feeling. And since that day, I'm like traveling every year to Ireland, you know, and I always have the feeling like coming home. I love the country, the countryside. I love the people. I love the culture. Everything. It's just like, and even back then I thought, when I'm getting older, I want to live over here. Maybe you have that too. Maybe if you have that feeling too, for a spot that is not right now your home, but you have that feeling, let me know. Maybe I'm not the only one. And there's one more thing about that. And also that I cannot explain that, right? Part of my family is from the States. So even as a little kid, we moved regular to the United States, back to Germany and so on. But I never stayed there very long, you know, like 3 months, 6 months, a couple of weeks and so on, you know. But then when I was very young, I always thought, oh man, it would be cool to live in the States. And then in my 20s, I moved to the United States. Lived and worked in Atlanta. I have family in Florida. My cousin, for example, lives in Florida, in Orlando. And my other cousin, my aunt, my uncle, they live in Missouri. And that's about it. I traveled all around in the United States through the years. So, but I found a job in Atlanta and been there for like 2 years, and then I was moving back to Germany. And Jesus Christ, guys, I'm telling you, I love the United States. You know, it's such a great country, great people, and everything is cool. But I still have family and friends in the United States. Also, a lot of friends that I met over YouTube. You know, that makes me value the friendship, the people, and everything around that. But there was a difference between Ireland and the United States. Also, I have roots in the United States, you know, so there's a real connection. But I never had the same feeling that I had in Ireland. And still, I have no explanation for that. I don't know why. Well, on the other hand, you know, sometimes you don't need explanations for everything, you know. You just like take it for granted. If that's the way it is, that's the way it is, man. Not every time I'm questioning that all the time, you know. You have that good feeling, that's the way it is. You don't know why or how that happened, but just enjoy it. Like a good cigar. another funny story about United States and family and so on. A couple of weeks ago, even before our vacation in France this year, I had a conversation with my youngest daughter. And she said, I don't know how the conversation started, but at some point she said, you know what, I want to move to the United States. How much is that, and what I can do, this, that, and so on. And that was the first time she told me that she wanted to move to the United States. And I have to tell you guys, I'm a big fan of, like, you know, my youngest daughter's of course still in school. And I said, I love it when you like travel. Go meet new people, like explore the world, you know, how often, how far you can, whatever, do it, you know. Because when you're still in school and you can like join a program where you're staying for like one school year in the United States or wherever, you know. I love that, you know, I love that idea. I would always support that. Because I think it's a good idea when young people moving around, you know, and meeting other people, new people, learn about new cultures, whatever, you know, it's always like, it will benefit you. Not only, I'm not talking about business, you know, but your own personal development, it will just benefit, you know, just benefits. However, but my youngest daughter she's never been to the States before, you know. She just heard my stories, and she know my cousin who always also like spent a couple of months not per year, but every now and then he's coming to Germany and visiting his German family, you know. So he knows him. But it was the first time she told me, I want to move and live in the United States. Sorry. And I said, oh, really? Why? Tell me about that. Tell me about that idea, right? And she's like, I don't like it in Germany. I said, oh, really? Okay. She could give me no real explanation why she's like, why she doesn't like Germany. I said, okay. But how do you know that you like the United States if you've never been there before? Well, I thought that's a valid question. And she was like, I already know it. I watched movies and series and whatever. And I was like, okay, man. You know, I can tell you a lot of things about the United States. Good things, not so good things, and whatever. First of all, you never asked me anything about it, like in detail. And I'm telling you, right now, there's a big difference. And that's not only in the United States, no matter what country in the world we're talking about. Movies and series and whatever, that's not reality. That's not how life is when you are there. It's always different, you know. So don't. I mean, I will support you when you really want to do that. I'm going to support that. But you know what? First, make a vacation, you know, for a couple of weeks, and then you have a first impression, and then you figure out what you like, what you don't like, whatever, you know. But right now, frankly, that's just a wild idea, you know, and you really have to figure out for yourself if you really like it over there. If you do, really cool, do it, you know, for the reasons I already told you. But just like never been there before, just moving there, that's like planned catastrophe, you know. That is like not a good idea. So I still don't, right now I don't know what the status is, because she never talked about that with me again. Or we never talked about it again. But I'm pretty sure it's still in her head and she's thinking about it. We'll see. And I'm already making plans to make like an extended vacation in the United States. Hopefully next year, because right now Europeans are still not allowed to travel to the United States due to Corona. But I hope that will be possible again in a couple of months. And maybe then, still don't know if I'm going to do it with the family or on my own, just with a buddy or whatever, you know, but that is going to happen. And my friends, if that is going to happen, all my friends here over YouTube, Ranch, Daniel, and so on, you know, I'll come over. I will come over, we have a cigar and a whiskey or beer, whatever, you know. Really want to do that. I really want to do that. And I'm so sure we'll have like a great time. Still like no exact plans where to start, where to go, and so on. But if that like is forming like more, if you're getting more details, I will let you guys know. And still, also I'm 47 years old, I still love to travel around the world, you know. Haven't seen so many places, you know. A lot of plans that I want to do, and it was always like in my mind, when my kids are getting older, of course you're getting a little bit more freedom back, you know, because you can leave them alone then. Hopefully. And like travel around, you know. I have a couple of countries on my list that I still want to see. For example, like my top 3 list, countries I still want to visit and that I'm going to visit in hopefully the next 2-3 years or so, is Japan, New Zealand, and Canada. My top 3 list at the moment, or for a long time already. So here we go. By the way, would be cool now, since we're talking about vacation, other countries, and so on, would be cool if you guys let me know if you ever been to Germany. And if yes, what do you think about it? And if not Germany, what's like your favorite spots in the world, like for vacation or whatever, you know? Where have you been? What do you like? What did it like meet the expectations or not, and so on. It would be cool to know where you guys traveled around and what were your experiences in other parts of the world. Let me know, would be great. It's always, I love talking about cigars, and I love to talk about like the world. I have to tell you guys, that here is like very unusual for an Arturo Fuente. Very unusual. But sometimes, yeah, it's a great cigar. Don't get me wrong. Love the aromas, the flavors, and like it's everything like expected, you know. But the burn is fucking crazy. That's, don't know what to say, my friends. I'm a big Arturo Fuente fan, really. But sometimes very unusual. It's like the same thing. It's like this on the same level like Davidoff cigars, you know. Usually that never happens. Probably it's my fault. But taste still great. Yesterday I went to the movies together with my wife. We had a fantastic dinner. We were at a Korean barbecue. It's a place, of course, Korean barbecue, all Korean dishes. But they had one specialty, like you can do the barbecue on your table. Right? They bring a lot of small pots with different kind of meats and vegetables and everything. And you're doing it all with on your own with different like dips and sauces and stuff. Fantastic. And after we were there early, like 5 p.m. or so, and then went to the movies. We watched Father, new movie with Anthony Hopkins. God, that was crazy. It's a great movie. I enjoyed it, but it's kind of depressive. It's ranging between sad, depressive, and like thoughtful. And it's a meaningful movie because no spoilers right now, but it's about Anthony Hopkins is a father, and he's like his daughter's taking care of him because he starts to forget things, you know, and that's getting pretty bad, you know. And it's about that relationship and what happens when you're getting older and so on. Like no spoilers as promised, but man, if you like into like deep movies, not only entertainment and so on. I mean, I always also like I call it like popcorn movies, you know, where you just sit there enjoying your popcorn, watching the movie, and just have a good time, and that's it, you know. Love that too. But sometimes it's also cool to like going to a movie that has like that's meaningful, you know. And that movie was great, but at the same time sad, and that's these kind of movies where you're coming home and you're thinking for the next couple of days about that movie and what happened. And maybe that's also because like you can instantly like have a connection to that situation, you know. We all have parents and they're getting older, and what happens, you know. But it was good to be there. A total different movie that I like went last week was Free Guy with Ryan Reynolds. That was so hilarious, funny, a great movie. I enjoyed that, but totally different, but also at the same time very enjoyable. If you've not like watched it by now. Totally different. Free guy and father. Great movies. Really like. Check it out. Maybe you watch it already. If so, let me know. Just good to be back into the cinema, because it was closed for like months, and it just opened up again. Like now I'm like every week I'm just hitting the cinema and watching new movies. I love it. Really, I love it. Talking about cinemas, what's also sad is that due to Corona and the lockdown and so on, a lot of small cinemas that have like just one, they have just like one room, right? One screen. They closed. A lot of cinemas closed over here because they're bankrupt. They were forced to close, and they're gone now. That's just fucking sad. Of course, like the big chains, like we have like, it's called over here CineStar, Cineplex. That's like these big things. They have like 10 different cinemas in a cinema. They survived, of course. They're big companies. They have a lot of money and so on. But man, it's so important to like support that art, that piece of culture, but no one cares, obviously, man. I don't know. It's sad. Same with small shops, local business, small shops. A lot of small shops close over here. And of course, new business like moving in, but I don't know if that can be replaced easily. Like with every shop, they have customers. They have like, there's a story behind it. They have history and so on. And when it's gone, it's gone. Later on, you start crying about that local business, but what you were doing during the when only limited customers, you have to go there and you have to spend your money over there, if possible. I mean, I'm not saying like if you can get it somewhere else, way cheaper. We all have to look for how to spend money, but it's important, guys, really. Guys, it's an hour already. Jesus Christ. Time's flying. I hope you enjoyed the night out. I did. It was great. Smoking together with you guys, sharing a few stories. I'm glad you're here. My friends, I hope you can smoke a good cigar. Enjoy life. Most importantly, stay safe and stay healthy. And I hope to see you around at Smoker Spot the next night out, the next review, whatever, next cigar talk. Join our wonderful little community over here where we're sharing thoughts about cigars and everything around. Have a good one, my friends. Cheers.